Hey, I'm gonna spray these cabinets today with some white lacquer. They've been sanded and sealed, obviously. Pretty old. They already got this latex on them, probably grease, and just everything that these funky apartments can do to them. I'm gonna use this Valspar white lacquer. It's tinted, requires no catalyst. You just go ahead and spray it on. You can do the same treatment to a few doors. These cabinets in here, got my Graco airless. I'm using a 317 tip, the green one for fine finishes. And first thing I'm going to do before I remove any of the hardware or anything is that since I'm in this apartment, I need to make a spray room. So in here, I'm just going to put 4 mil on the floor and 1 mil on the walls. I finished this stinking spray room out. It took 45 minutes. It's a big time suck. But you have to tape every seam, every single seam, because when you spray, paint will find its way in there. For here, for the tops, you notice I put tape every few inches away. That way if it falls, it won't take like 3 feet of section with it when it falls. It'll take about 6 inches to a foot. This corner gave me problems, so kind of did what I had to do a little bit on there. And then this door's going to get painted, so I'm going to have to make sure and make this airtight after I sand this and take it off. Now the next step we got to do, take the fridge out and stove, put it in the living room, and then start removing all the hardware. Put it in a bag. I'm taping these off because they're not cool to put back on. Same with these, they gotta match up just right. So I'm just gonna tape those off. Okay, I'm already starting to sand these doors with them still attached because it's just a little easier. But all the pieces that I can't get around with my electric sander, I hit it up when I take them off with the 220. And it's got all these cabinet doors to sand. And then I'm going to take them off. Start spraying them. When you do take them off, it's important to keep them in a certain order so you remember where they go exactly back on the cabinets. Or else a lot of times they won't close correctly. And so, I'll do a left to right, top to bottom, and then I'll lay that out when I spray it, and I'll show you how I do that. Alright, while I'm sanding, I come across some holes, a couple pinholes. Those need filled in. I'm just using some DAP painter's putty. These fills in really good. Hard to do it and hold the phone at the same time. Wish my wife was here to hold the camera again. So let that dry a little bit and then sand it. Keep these cabinets need some paint on them. It's been taking too long. I had to put lacquer thinner on most of these and clean all the grease off before I could sand. Bad news. So that's when I start spraying. Set up my little phone. Let's get this going. Just one quick coat. Not too heavy because it'll run. If it runs, you wait till it dries, you gotta sand it and do it again.
So if it gets clogged, you gotta unclog it.
Okay, I keep coming in here and spraying a coat on these really fast and running back out. Got this all sanded. You have to start sanding on the insides of these. And then the outsides, dust them all out, wipe them down really good with the rag. You got paint on here. All you gotta do, since the paint, let's get that light going. There we go. This is on the outside. This is the first layer. Is you just knock it off what you can, and then sand off the rest. But I'm gonna go and sand on these outsides first, and then get the insides done. And then you gotta brush it all out really good. Use a rag, not a brush. I said brush, my bad. Rag really hits it up. And I'll mask these off. Even these dumb little knobs, I'll mask off with some tape. And then start masking. I'll bring you up to that point. You don't need to watch me sand. Open into my cabinet doors, and I see that I got some drips. Get this focus better. They're all done, so I take my 220 sandpaper and sand those out. All better. It is time to mask. When you mask, you have to do the best job on keeping the tape as close to the wood as possible. Because if it's just out just a millimeter or two, when you spray it, you're going to see it. And so it's worth all your time and effort. What I'm going to do, I have 12-inch masking paper. Now, if you're masking a lot and you run out of masking paper, you're going to run out of it before you run out of tape. But when you do, just go ahead and replace the whole tape roll as well. It's a weird ratio, but it works so the best. I'm going to mask this out 12 inches on all the edges. And then here on the bottom, I'm just going to put plastic down from that backsplash to the lip of the counter. And then I'm going to mask the floor down as well. And just do it like that. And if I'm kind of scared about it, I'll put 2 feet of masking there. And then I'll do that to both sides. If I can sneak this behind this lip. I can't. Now I am spraying. I got my fan. I'm going to want to hit, a portion of the masking paper, obviously, so you get it covered. And so if I just went ahead and taped it like this, the paint would just go this way. It wouldn't be a lot, but when you pull this back, you'll have a line and you'll see the white varnish. So the way you avoid this, go ahead and fold that up. So this will catch it. You make this crease in it. And if you're worried about it, like I am, so when you spray it, it's going to go right there and get caught. And you don't have to mask really far back. You can do it like this. It gets a little tricky when you do the tops because you got to connect them. Make sure you tape the seam all the way. Any seams that you have to tape it. And then, you know, I'm going to keep going. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so what the top looks like. You have to put these other pieces of tape to catch it to make it strong. Not the prettiest thing, but you get the idea. When I'll spray it, it'll catch the overspray and that lip. I got it a couple inches tall. Here in the excuse me, on the bottom I have 2-inch tape, and I flip this up so I can tape it. I'm going to run another 2-inch tape on the bottom of this lip, and when I pulled out my plastic, instead of doing it long ways and then stretching it out from there, I did it from here to the, sorry, one-handed. From there to there, then I'll stretch it out long ways, and then it'll catch on that lip on the bottom, and I'll get that masked off. Alright, this is what we're working with. Got my masked off cabinets. These won't come out, otherwise I'd take those out. I'll go ahead and spray these down, put a quick coat on them. And if it runs, you know, when it dries, go ahead and sand it. But continue that process till they're done, about 4 or 5 coats. The first coat, I got a bunch of runs on it, you know, and that's okay. I'm showing you this to show that I'm not perfect. I've been doing this a long time, and I still got runs all over the place. All this sands out. There's a 220 grit on there when it dries. Sand it all out. I work for myself, but it's okay. All that stuff sands right out. Just do that 4 or 5 times. It'll look good at the end.
Okay.
Alright, about one more coat left. I've been sanding my mistakes as I go. Trying to get it to look good. Got all these cabinets on the wall done. Got these 4 larger ones left. These have 2 coats on the top. These are all completely on. Up and at 'em. Alright, this is a finished product. Look pretty good. It was a pain to put all that hardware back on. But it took about 15-16 hours to do all this. If I was to do it again, I'd recommend not stacking everything up against the wall if you could avoid it. But put up some horses or a bunch of buckets and do it that way. Because you get a lot of runs if you, and the plastic spits up from the back and likes to stick to the back of it. And yeah, that's it. It took about 4.5 gallons and a very, very, very long night. A lot of patience and more sanding than I would like to admit.